Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This morning I'm going to be doing another subscriber's request, and it's going to be corn pudding. I'll talk to you a little bit about corn pudding when I mix it up and everything. But right now, let me tell you what you're going to need to make this corn pudding. Okay, I got 2 cans. You're going to need 2 cans of the cream style sweet corn. The cream style corn, not the whole kernel. You're going to need 2 cans of that. Okay, you're going to need 2 large eggs. And then we're going to beat those eggs. Beat them. Beat the eggs. 2 large eggs, beat them. And this here's a cup and a half of evaporated milk. 1.5 cup of evaporated milk. And this is 1 tablespoon of butter. 1 tablespoon of melted butter. And this is probably about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, or either 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'll tell you the reason I'm saying about and whatever when I get to mixing this stuff. I'll tell you more about it. And this is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this is 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. That's all you're going to need to make this corn pudding. And I'm going to go off the camera and get my corn opened up and my eggs beaten. And I'm going to come back and show you how to mix this up. Wait, one more thing. Let me tell you, you're going to need about a 2-quart grease baking dish. 2 quarts. Unless you decide to go out on your own and double this recipe and make more. And you also going now this recipe is going to have to be cooked on 350 for 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's 350, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now let me pop off here and get these cans open and get the mixing it, showing you how to mix it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the corn pudding. Be right back. Okay, everybody, I got the corn open and the eggs beaten. And there was one thing I forgot to tell you. With that 1.5 cups of milk, it's going to have to be scalded. You know what I told you scalded was? Scalded is getting it to the boiling point, but not boiling. You do not boil milk when you are scalded. You're just heating it up. You're heating it up some. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead on and I'm going to get my corn put in the bowl. And this is something I want to tell you. Now I may be wrong about this because some younger people might have had it before, but I was wondering about this when I started seeing requests for the corn pudding. I was like, this is somebody. Hey, this is somebody that knows something about good food and landmark type cooking. Because this recipe, I remember this from like little girl, 6, 7 years old. When we moved out into the country, my mama making the corn pudding, and the ones that had it, they know it's simple, but it's absolutely delicious. And what I was gonna tell you, this could not. When I first started this, first had it and first started making this, it always was made out of fresh corn. I'm just coming up with this. I'm kind of creating this recipe with the cream style corn, because usually I just use fresh corn, cut it off the cob in the summertime when corn and stuff is ready down this part of the South. Okay, just mixing this corn up in there. I'm gonna go ahead on and mix this sugar. So I'm basically just especially with the amounts and stuff that I'm telling you to put in, Once you, if you, the one that asked me for the recipe, you try it. Now, one thing for sure, I know this is what goes in the recipe, but the amounts, I just kind of calculated by the amount of corn and stuff that I was having. Because like I said, they always made this out of fresh field corn or either the sweet corn. You know, field corn is good, sweet corn, and they would just cut it off the cob and then now if you try this recipe and you want to do it with some fresh corn, you got to remember that corn got to be cooked before you put it in the oven. This goes in the oven. Just put it on and probably cook it for, you know, cut it off the cob and cook it for 10-15 minutes. Get it to like this here, sort of like some cream corn, and then go ahead on and start adding your milk, your butter, and now this is the butter. I'm putting the butter in. I already put the sugar. And now this is one thing I really I wasn't sure about, but I was wondering with this here, with this canned corn, that I need to add some of this. And I'm going ahead on and I'm going to add it, because if this recipe, I didn't do no sample recipe. I just went ahead on and used the, I knew what went into the corn pudding, and this is what I'm using. But this here cornstarch is something that was not necessarily put in it because of the consistency of the corn, cream corn and stuff like that. It was kind of thick. But I was thinking that we may need something to kind of thicken it up. Wait a minute. Some stuff acting like it don't want to come out. And I told you this is a couple of teaspoons. It won't hurt it. Now when I get this cooked up, I was like, you know, I'll know the next time whether to put it in here or not. But usually this wasn't one of the steps. But we've kind of just creating this. All I did is just substitute this cream corn like it was some corn we just, you know, it just cooked, and went from there. Okay, you go with salt and pepper, and you do that to taste. And if you don't like pepper, you don't have to put pepper in it. I put pepper in it because I like pepper in my corn. If you don't like pepper in your corn, please leave it out. The reason I'm coming up with, you know, I stress this to you guys in a lot of previous videos, recipes. I told you cooking is just common sense. So that's the reason I'm creating this recipe, which I did this so many times. I told you, like, I could go somewhere and try something and I can come home and fix it the same way, you know, I think it was did without even having a recipe. Okay, now put my eggs in. You see how I'm mixing? You guys, especially you young cooks, I know your older, mature cooks know it better. Make sure you mix your stuff well. You ain't got to over mix it or none of that carrying on or none of this, but make sure everything is mixed well. So it's best when every time you you add something to the recipe, let's try to get that all mixed up in there before you go on to the next step. Let me get my bigger spatula. Just had that because it's easier to get the corn and stuff out of the can like that. I'm making sure, that's one of the reasons I beat the eggs beforehand, so it won't be hard to mix in there. When you don't, and you just put the eggs, because it calls for 2 eggs, you just put them off over in there. It take a lot more mixing than it would if you just kind of slightly beat the eggs before. It's not gonna hurt it, not one bit. It's gonna make for a good cook one day, doing stuff like that. I want you guys to leave me a comment to let me know. I had my milk over there on the. It was heated right, but I left it on my burner. And you know them burners and stuff. Let me test this milk and see if it ain't too hot. Pretty warm there. But I'm gonna go ahead and take my chances. It's not gonna do no cooking of the eggs. We have some scrambled egg pudding. That was me. That was my fault. I should have moved over to another burner. Because even though it was off, you know, it still had that, it was still heated. We got an electric stove. Anybody ever had corn pudding, they know that it is so good. I tell you, that's what a lot of you know, I'm glad that whoever sent in that request, and you let me know when you see this video, was you the one that sent in the request, because I just mostly write the request down. I don't put the person's name down. I haven't as of yet started that. Because I'm not gonna call anybody name or stuff like that, because you have you have some unsavory people come to your channels and trolls and stuff, and you don't never know what they're gonna do. You don't try to figure out what somebody gonna do negative. You just move on. Even though we know they ain't right to do that, not one bit. See what it kind of looked like? It looked like a pudding. Oh, let me pick it up. But this is so good. And I can't ever remember going in a restaurant, when I was coming up. I can't even remember a restaurant. We didn't have, I'm talking about since I've gotten older and started my life. I can't ever remember going in a country restaurant that did a country type cooking that really had a corn pudding. That's when I was kind of out. It just made me smile and so happy. I said, wow, who that wants some corn pudding? Because I was talking to my daughter about it. I said, ooh, I don't think I've fixed a corn pudding. Since I was getting all that corn from a friend of mine's husband had that corn, and it was back here in the it was in the 80s, but my daughter was born in the 90s. But I think I might have, I used to get, but I had got, I was like, enough of this, all that corn cutting and all of that stuff that I used to do. I still love it, and I'm going back to it. I never have completely put it down, but when you're working and all the business of the world, you just can't do that type of cooking like that anymore. Okay, I think I got it mixed well. Go ahead on and pour it in my dish. And once again, I'm cooking this on 350. When I get it cooked and done and everything, and I think it should have cooked it on a little lower degrees or whatever, I will tell you. But like I was saying, now the ones of you that asked for this recipe, if you see me doing something with this corn pudding, I know if you had it, you probably knew it was fixed out of fresh corn. I told you that's one thing. We're gonna substitute this and see how it's gonna go. I don't fix it like this before, but most of the time I do the fresh corn. Getting it in the bowl right up.
Yes, it's in.
If not, I can't see on the back side of it. The light here, where I can't hardly see it all anyway. Well, I don't seem as bright as it normally do today. And I got that oven preheating. And you can put a can of
Stand back just a little bit. You got me blocked. I can't see it.
what? Wait a minute. What you need to see?
Stuff in the bowl.
It ain't
In
necessary.
the baking dish.
It ain't really necessary, but it's just pouring it up. Appreciate you trying to show it, but when I want to see when I finish, I was just trying to make sure it ain't gonna do no boiling off because I didn't put that many eggs in there. I cut down on the amount of eggs that I think I used to put in it because you know, I wasn't fixing that much. But it's going. My oven is preheating at 350, and like I said, I was gonna put it in there for about an hour and 15 minutes. And if I see that I needed to have cut my oven down, or cook it a little longer or whatever, I'll let you know when I'm coming back. So let me get this in the oven, and when it's finished, I'll be back to show you guys the finished product of the corn pudding. Excited about this.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, everybody, this is the finished product of the corn pudding. I hope you can see it. I just got it out the oven. It's very, very hot, and it's really gonna have to set. That's the reason I'm not gonna try to dish up you some. But you take a so can you see it? You take a toothpick or something, stick it in and insert it in, and see if it's done. But usually some might come out because it don't just really come back out clean. Maybe a little oil or something on it until you don't let the dish set up. This is a real delicious dish, and I feel if you try it, you're gonna thoroughly enjoy it. And don't forget to leave me a comment as to whether or not you have had a corn pudding before. I was wondering how popular they was now. But I've enjoyed doing and sharing this recipe with you guys. And I'll be doing some more subscriber requests real soon. Before I start this get back, just showing y'all some just some recipes that I want to just put up. I'm really enjoying doing this these subscribers requests because it's just like I know it's something somebody wants that helps me a lot. But I'm gonna go ahead on and end this video. I really appreciate you watching, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified, and leave me a comment, like I say, if you've had corn pudding before. Remember, this corn pudding, not corn casserole. I'll be doing I think I've had some requests for corn casserole. On down the line, I'll be doing the corn casserole. And remember, you guys, this dish was always did with fresh corn. Fresh corn. You know, this was just a variation that I did with the cream style corn. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Hey, you guys. I just popped back on for just a minute to tell you when I ended the video, my husband hadn't put up the equipment and stuff yet, and I was over there reading some comments, and I read a comment on the squash casserole where one of my subscribers had said that she was thanking me for showing the consistency of the squash casserole. And then I felt kind of bad. I said, oh, I was, you know, I didn't do it with the corn casserole because it was too hot then. And I came back in the kitchen. I said, oh, it done cool off enough. Let me show this. And I told my husband, ask my husband, could he get out the equipment and let me do a little insert? He said, sure. So this is the consistency of the corn casserole. This is what it should look like when you do it. That's all I want to say, you guys. Bye.